straight down the camera.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hope your Sunday is less pissy rainy than ours is.
Oh, it's horrendous out there this morning, isn't it?
I'm not going, well, not that I'm allowed to go out anywhere much, but I could have gone in the garden, but not in this rain. Right. Just going to do a little explanation for anybody joining this for the first time, because this is not one of those streams that's aimed at raising money or talking about issues or any of that other stuff. This Elevenses was designed to be designed made up,
thrown together
to be Music Venue Trust, which Mark and I run, but it's a big team of other people as well, taking a few minutes off from dealing with the current crisis and encouraging those within our community to do the same, to take a coffee or tea break each morning and have a nice chat with some friends. And although obviously the current situation does come up occasionally, it was really intended just to be let's just take a step back a few minutes, take the hands off the keyboard and have a chat.
Now I'm having to put
but you're not allowed on it for the rest of the time. Yeah. We are streaming to various platforms.
True.
So originally this was only to be shared within the Music Venues Alliance, which is our network of venues. And the first guest came on, and that was very much the nature of it. It's been fun. Yeah. And people have been telling us they've been enjoying it. And we've been really lucky with the lovely guests we've had on. So we are now sharing it a bit more widely. And
so you can follow this on Facebook through my feed. Bev's, you put it up afterwards, don't you? Or you can now go to the Music Venue Trust YouTube page, which is youtube.com/Music Venue Trust,
or the Music Venue Trust Facebook
page, which is /Music Venue Trust, or you can go to the Twitch TV. See how funky I am when I'm down with the kids.
Yeah, I think that now's the moment to invite a guest before you get really silly.
I don't really know what it is, but anyway, it's on the twitch.tv/Music Venue Trust account as well. And if you are going on that one, if you're an Amazon Prime customer, if you subscribe to that channel, which you can do as an Amazon Prime customer, they send $5.
Cool.
So $5, which we'll just put into a fund for Music Venue Trust. What Bev left out was, this is not actually meant to be a fundraiser. No. This is meant to be a little bit where we don't talk about fundraising. We have a little bit of time off.
There are other things for that.
Yeah.
You can go find those too, but that's not what this is.
Okay. So today's guest has just marched out of shot. No, he's back. so today's guest is, drum roll as usual.
Oh, I've got my coffee in my hands.
Nigel Clark. Hi, Nigel.
Hello.
Morning. How are you doing, mate?
I feel like I'm on the Sunday brunch or something.
Well, you are. Have you got a cup of tea? Did you bring your own tea?
I've got an old cup of coffee now that I've drank already. That's why I'm a little bit jittery.
Oh, yeah?
But yeah.
My other suggestion was, because it was Sundays, it would be acceptable to have a Bloody Mary, but we haven't gone for that this Sunday. Maybe next Sunday.
I'm not sure we've got the ingredients for that.
Yeah,
Tomato
juice is hard to get these days.
Make your own. So, how are you, mate? Whereabouts in the country are you?
I'm in Perthshire, in Worcestershire, in the Midlands,
Right.
in my basement, and it's same time here. It's just gone 11 o'clock here, so we're the same time as them as well.
Well,
even though we could be, I mean, yeah, and I've been here in duration of this lockdown, not in the basement, but this is my recording studio, so I work here anyway. So I feel for a lot of people. I work from home, so it's not very different for me. But obviously at weekends I go and do gigs, which obviously that hasn't happened. So I actually went out. I do a little bit of stuff for the local food bank. So I go and deliver and pick up donations. And because I've got a van, I thought I'd better do it. And I do it 2 days a week. And on Friday, I got in the van this week, and I'd forgotten how to drive. I was all over the place with the gears.
The other day, didn't you?
Yeah, I went to the supermarket the other day, which Mark has mostly been doing. And I got in the car and I realised that actually, I think I've driven 3 or 4 times in like the last 2 months.
It's mad, isn't it?
It's partly because just before lockdown, I was travelling a lot. But then since lockdown, yeah, I mean, you've been valiantly doing the supermarket runs rather than me.
Yeah, in full protective gear and hazmat suit, everything.
Wow.
Yeah,
Slight exaggeration.
Slight exaggeration, but it's been pretty bad. So before you came on air, I was having a quick chat with you, and I said, I think it's now 30 years since I first spoke to you, and that came from the very, very early days of you being dodgy. Not being dodgy, being dodgy, but being in dodgy, which was what was the name? It was called the Dodgy Club.
It was called the Dodgy Club, and it was Bacchus Wine Bar in Kingston upon Thames.
Yeah, that was some mad times. There was loads of stuff happening like that at the time. We had over in Tunbridge Wells, we had the Rumble Club.
Yeah,
you had the Dodgy Club there, and there was a guy over at the Chelmsford Army and Navy, or the Y Club.
there was the Y Club. There was Joe and Danny that did the Y Club. I think it was Joe Bartlett who did the Green Man Festival.
Yeah.
And this is the weirdest thing is, I mean, this is the Dodgy Club started in, I think, mid to late '89, and we would go on for half an hour, and we would DJ, but it wasn't, the DJing sessions were the same as what the Heavenly Social went on to be, from the Beastie Boys to the Beatles, Neil Young to NWA. That's what we were into, but it was our club. It felt very much like the 60s movement of we took back what was ours, in some way. So it wasn't corporate at all. We used to charge record companies more to get in. There's no guest.
Yeah. And you were saying, I mean, all of that happened everywhere. It happened in loads of places across the country because organically, people in bands got fed up with bad gigs and bad venues and just being ripped. I mean, there was a whole thing of play to pay, wasn't there?
I mean, we moved to London in '88, October '88. Matthew and I, and obviously met Andy down there for an advert in Loot. But we were doing gigs and we were paying £30, getting sent 200 cardboard tickets to our house and looking at each other and going, we don't know anyone. So it was just like, it was ridiculous. And then we'd get the headline slot at the Sir George Robey or Lady O in Arms or, one of the cricketers. And no one would be there because you'd be on the headline slot and it would be after the buses or the last tube had gone. And it was very, very difficult for a band who'd moved from the Midlands to London thinking they were going to make it and then realize that, that it was, every step was just a beginning step. Every step, even when we got a record deal, it was, you were still on the first rung of the ladder. Do you know what I mean? So it was really difficult. But I think by doing the Dodgy Club, we realized that we were doing so, and because it was successful, 150 people successful, it was successful to us. We realized that we could do something, and we could do something that was our own and different,
Yeah, I think that DIY spirit, then the people who did all that work in the 80s and the early 90s, funnily enough, I still know loads of those people now. And the reason I know them is because they're now the people that are running grassroots music venues. They're the people who survived. Like, your Paul Jacksons up at the Hull Adelphi and, Nathan at the Brunel, people like that, all kind of emerged that time or just slightly later. And it was a real big DIY scene and really, but slightly before your or my time, wasn't it? You came along a bit later.
Yes.
What were you doing in 1990?
I was a student at Leicester Poly studying 3D design.
Ooh, 3D design.
We're going to the occasional, well, I went to lots of gigs in the student union, the occasional gig in the Charlotte.
Ooh.
Very definitely a student.
Yeah. Well, have you got a song for us this morning, Nigel?
I have, yeah. Sorry, I had to go off shop. My computer had turned itself off. I still haven't worked out how to stop it doing that. Yeah. Anyway, so I've got a couple of songs, if you don't mind. I mean, I'll do one and then one at the end if it's enough time.
Yeah, great for us. Be brilliant.
There's a couple of people we've lost, musicians and mainly songwriters. I mean, unfortunately, lost quite a lot of musicians, but we lost two very inspirational songwriters, and so I'd like to dedicate these both songs to them because they were amazing. They've affected me and made me the songwriter I wish I was or hope to become. So this is a Bill Withers song for all the Bill Withers fans out there. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. It's not warm when she's away. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. She's always gone too long. Anytime she goes away, wonder if she's gone to school. Wonder if she's gonna stay. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone, and this house just ain't no home. Anytime she goes away. And I know, 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 I know. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. Yeah, I'll leave something alone, but ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Only darkness every day. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone, and she's always gone too long. Anytime she goes away. Anytime she goes away. Anytime she goes away. Hey.
Thank you. That was lovely.
Excellent.
Thank you.
So, obviously, there's no current gigs going on, but you're doing some live streams and things that people can tune into.
Yeah, I've decided that. Oh, sorry, I'll take that off again. I've sort of. This is the greatest thing about it. It's like, you know, like we were talking about positives. It's really pushed musicians and artists to look at other ways of getting to their audience, or to a new audience, in fact. I mean, I did a gig the other day on the Dodgy site, and I think 25,000 people have watched that video. That's more people than I play to in a year.
That's fantastic.
And I didn't have to drive anywhere. I've got my slippers on still, you know. I think so. So the idea is, I mean, I'm really lucky because I've been building a studio I've lived here 10 years now. So this has been a 10-year, and it still looks a real wreck. But there's a lot of equipment here. But I can utilize this. I've got my keyboard. I've got my drum machines. I could try and utilize this and put shows on that are very different than what I would, because I can't take all this equipment with me to a stage. But I can do my stages at home now. You know.
Yeah.
But
my
I think
stage is my basement.
But that's really cool. But it's really interesting talking to different musicians, the different setups. So, I mean, similar to you, when we were talking to Ed Harcourt the other day, you know, he's got his amazing studio at the end of the garden, and
I loved it. Yeah.
Packed full of all sorts of delights. And, you know, we all now want to go to Ed's studio, basically. But then contrast that with an artist like Frank Turner, who spends most of his time on the road and actually hasn't got much except his guitars at home, because he doesn't really spend much time at home.
Yeah.
And so even within the musician community, there's kind of a huge disparity in what people are set up for. And we had Ren Harvey and Romeo Stoddart on as well. And they very cleverly decided to lock down with some other musicians so that they've got a little community with whom to work.
That's a good idea. I wish I'd have done that, mind you. It would have happened years ago when we all used to live in Hounslow. But obviously the internet hadn't been invented then. So
yeah. I'm not sure we would have wanted live broadcast from your house in Hounslow. No. I don't know if you wanted any documentary evidence of that, mate.
So, what has Mark Morris told you?
Well, maybe we should ask him next time we talk to him to tell some stories of those days. But Nigel, I was going to ask, if people do want to see the broadcast you're doing, where should they be looking? Because on some of these, we have been sharing websites or Facebook pages and things. So what's the best place to find Dodgy podcasts or other stuff you might be doing?
Yeah, I mean, so I've got another one planned, another live gig planned on Thursday, the 23rd at 9 o'clock on the Dodgy UK Facebook page. So you just go along to the page and a screen will pop up and say live now, and you'll be broadcast live from my basement, basically. Cool. And then I've got a YouTube channel that I'm going to start doing like little tutorial songwriting things on there, just putting like little tips for not getting stuck when you're writing songs. Because I think that I'm the greatest songwriter in the world of unfinished songs. I have millions of unfinished songs. And I made a plan this January, because I've been in my studio now since January, because I sort of didn't do any, I stopped doing gigs for 2 months. I thought I'd done enough gigs last year to afford January, February, and I'm still here. So I'm trying to I'm finishing off all those old songs that I wrote, that I always write. I mean, I think we all love new ideas and being creative right now. And, oh, this is brilliant. But the trick is finishing it. How do we finish songs?
Yeah.
That's
okay.
That's a really interesting topic, actually, isn't it? Because I think all creatives have lots of ideas, but
I still work. I mean, basically, I find it very, very difficult to finish writing a government report without using the words, "Why don't you fucking do something?" But I mean,
this is how this partnership works. He comes up with ideas, and I finish them off.
Without the swearing, removed all the bits where it looks like somebody just going to punch somebody in the head. That's the relationship there.
Yeah, it just reaches the point where I go, right, I'll take that then.
Right. Well,
I mean, it's the same with me. I'll write a song and then I'll just I'll have like problems with the second verse, and I'll see Matthew and go, "Matt, have you got any ideas?" And then we'll do it together. Then, do you know what I mean? That's a lot. That happens a lot of the time, really. So that's good. But obviously, he isn't here. He's in his garden or something. But,
I was musing on how big Matt's beard might be by the end of this.
That's a good question.
Yeah, maybe it'll stretch the length of his garden.
Right, so you got another song for us, Nigel?
I have. Yeah, let me just get my my lyrical thing. Oh God, it's here somewhere. Sorry. So this is a song, a John Prine song, obviously. And very sadly, we lost John Prine, who was another amazing songwriter. This was off, I think, his last album or his penultimate album. But I heard this and I went, I need to learn this. This is a couple of years ago. I need to learn this song. And then sadly, he died a couple of weeks ago. And I thought, right, I've got a few days, I'm going to learn this song. So I learned it, did a video. I put a video up on Instagram. So if you want to see it, I did a late night recording just to this thing, the iPad. And it's really good, actually. But the song's amazing. And it's another classic of John Prine. So here we go. Summer's ends around the bend, just flying. The swimming suits are on the line, just drying. I'll meet you there for our conversation. Hope I didn't ruin your whole vacation. Well, you never know how far from home you're feeling until you watch the shadows cross the ceiling. Well, I don't know, but I can see it snowing. In your car, the windows are wide open. Just come on home. Just come on home. No, you don't have to be alone. Just come on home. Valentines break hearts and minds at random. That old Easter egg ain't got a leg to stand on. Well, I can see that you can't win for trying. And New Year's Eve is bound to leave him crying. Come on home. Just come on home. No, you don't have to be alone. Just come on home. Just come on home. No, you don't have to be alone. The moon and stars hang out in bars just talking. I still love that picture of us walking, just like that old house we thought was haunted. Summer's end came faster than we wanted. Just come on home. Come on home. You don't have to be alone. Just come on home. Just come on home. You don't have to be alone. Just come on home.
Tremendous.
Beautiful. Thank you, Nigel.
Thank you, John Prine.
Well, yes, absolutely. But that was a really lovely version. Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure.
So, what?
Quite emotional now.
Feel a bit blown out by that.
It is an emotional song, isn't it? It's very. I just heard it, and then I thought, and I did it the other day, and I started doing it, and I went, "Oh my God, this is so poignant." I was getting tingles. I was just like, this kept giving me tingles. You know, when you know something is so, it's got that touch about it. The music and the lyrics touch you, and I love that feeling that it makes you feel that like you're not alone. You're not alone. We're not alone.
Of course, that's what music is so important for right now as well. It is connecting people, and it is helping to some extent. I mean, obviously, it's very hard being a musician. It's very hard being a venue, and anybody working in music has had their plans thrown into disarray, but music is still one of the things that brings us together and connects us. So,
well, it's going to be important for bringing us all back together, isn't it? That's the point.
Yes.
I think so, and I think there's what I felt, and I mean, I felt that it's not about me. It's actually, what we've learned is it's about the NHS, and it's about staying at home for the reason. We don't need the government to tell us to stay at home. We do this because we have our brains, and we realise that the NHS will struggle if we all go out and start going to bars again. I know why I'm doing this, but it's for other people, and I think that's what we've got to do now. And I love that about our society, that if that is the change, that we start thinking about other people rather than our own gains. That's it. We raised, the greatest thing is, I mean, I'm really happy about is that Dodgy, as well as Tom Moore's done 20 million, but we raised £5,000 last week for the NHS, which made me so happy because of our fans have done that. It's not us, we just put it up there. The music fans have done that, and I know people are being furloughed and got no money, but doing that, Tom Moore, 20+ million is that. These are the things that make me feel that Britain is great. Britain isn't great because it wants to leave Europe and anything like that. Britain is great because of the compassion and the empathy and understanding of the people. That makes me feel brilliant.
Well, I think it gives a lot of hope for the future, doesn't it, Nigel? That's the point. If we can if we can take this opportunity to maybe restructure things and work out what's really important, then that's going to be good, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't want to go back to how it was before. I don't want to. I think we need to change, and I think this is the real eye-opener. We need to change. We need to value the people that are doing all those jobs out there, the supermarket workers, delivery men, who just get blindsided and ignored in our society. We now realise they're doing an amazing job for all the people, food banks delivering food to people who would be vulnerable at home with young children or can't get out. This is when a society and a country pulls together, and I feel very proud of the British people for doing that. I really do. And that doesn't come very often to me. I feel that we've been controlled by a media. The media isn't controlling this. COVID's controlling this. And it's a human reaction is the one that's going to change it.
Well, that got highly political.
Stirring stuff for a Sunday morning, Nigel.
I sleep with this shit.
I'll tell you what, anybody's watching this who disagrees with any of that, you can feel free to unfriend me. I don't know. Just to save time. Yeah, Nigel too. Listen, mate, thank you so much for popping in.
It's lovely to see you, Nigel.
Lovely to see you, and listen, sometime soon, not too far away, hopefully we'll see you live again somewhere.
If we are together again. Lovely to speak to you guys.
Yeah, lovely to speak to you. Speak to you soon, Nigel. Thanks for coming. Well, that was bit
That was
special, wasn't
great.
it? Yeah.
You better get back to your email.
I better get back to my email. I can't feel that John Prime one's just thrown me a little.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go and clean the house or something. I don't feel fit to email.
You don't feel fit to argue with insurance companies
No.
on behalf of venues at the moment.
So,
Right.
thank you for joining us. We will return tomorrow for Elevenses. I hope you will come visit us.
Oh
then.
yes, tomorrow bring your kids. Bring your kids tomorrow. We've got 20 minutes, and we'll keep your kids entertained for 20 minutes as well as on top of everything else we'll do.
Just trying to, mix it up a bit.
Mix it up a bit. All right. I'm going to
Happy
see you
Sunday.
all.
Bye.
Cheerio. Bye.